Hello, friends. I am Chevee. Welcome to my shed. How are you today? How's life in your world? How's things where you are? Hope it's fantastic. Everything here is great. And I didn't upload yesterday's video until this morning because I completely forgot to upload yesterday's video. You know, I have long suspected, but I've never paid for testing, that I have ADD. When I hear people talk about it, I go, oh yeah, I identify with all of that. I am able to hyper focus on something that interests me, and I will hyper focus on that thing for months, and then one day it just goes. I also have the ability, or the lack of ability, to focus on things that need to be focused on. Instead, I will be working on something and some other distraction will happen. And it's constant. And yesterday was one of those days. It felt like nothing that I needed to get done got done because there were so many things going on. And part of that is I haven't had my kids for 2 weeks. So I had 2 weeks without them. Yesterday was like the first day. Well, they came Sunday night. Yesterday was like the first day where I had to do the parent stuff, like get to school, get back from school, soccer game, all that sort of things. And so I also needed to do some of their laundry, some of my laundry, work stuff, just cook dinner. When we have soccer games, I usually do a crock pot meal, so it's ready when we get back to the house. I don't have to wait to cook anything. And it was just like a stream of forgetting everything yesterday. The crock pot thing, I meant to start at 10. I didn't get it in the crock pot until noon. Ended up being fine. The video, I shot it during lunch and edited it later that day. And by the way, editing on my new laptop is great. It renders the videos like in a third of the time of the old laptop. Wonderful. And just never uploaded it. I ended up having meetings yesterday afternoon, or a meeting. I don't know. Maybe I had another meeting yesterday morning, and then that was unexpected, and then a meeting that afternoon. And those things, those distractions, just kept me from doing. Like, I never did come down and put the laundry in the dryer. I never did until like 8 o'clock last night when I went, oh yeah, I have to go do that. Whew, it can be exhausting, but it's a part of who I am at this point. At 43, well, what am I going to do about it? I mean, I guess I could probably go pay for a test and get some sort of, whatever. But I've made it this far, right? I'm doing all right with who I am as a person. But some days, it's just, whew, all over the place. So, I did what I had to do, and I got stuff done. And I forgot the video until this morning. So hopefully I don't do that again today, because again, I have kid from soccer, or kid from school, other kid needs to go to a doctor, kid to soccer, kid back from soccer, though I think M's going to take care of that. There's just, dinner. What am I going to cook for dinner tonight? All kinds of stuff. It's a little bit cray-cray. So, the good news is the learning. I don't want to say it's over. I don't think I could ever say. I don't think anybody could ever say that they've learned everything there is to learn about programming. The learning tutorials that I was working on to learn this new framework are behind me now, and I'm now just doing general reading about apps. I'm doing code reviews just to get my head around how actual software is built. If you've ever if you've never learned programming, I suggest you go learn something. I'm going to hesitate to call HTML programming, but it is programming adjacent, and for a normal person, I think it's a good skill to learn. And if you go take tutorials, and you'll watch a tutorial, and they will teach you the book definition of how to do something. And I think this applies to even learning a real world language, not a programming language, but a real world language. When you go to school and you learn Spanish in school, you are learning proper Castilian Spanish. You are not using South American or Central American Spanish. You are not using the Spanish that normal people speak. Heck, it's the same for English. We don't speak we don't use English, spoken English, in the way that we're taught English in school, right? Like we take shortcuts, we do all sorts of stuff that is bad grammar when spoken English. It's the same thing, right? So learning, learning a programming language or a framework or a paradigm or whatever you want to call it, it's you go through the tutorial, and the tutorial will teach you, like, here's the way this is laid out. Here's the way you do this thing. But then in reality, when you go look at somebody's code base, you go look at actual projects that are in production, you'll see all kinds of stuff that was never taught. Partially, that it's a good way to learn about built-in functions that you weren't aware of. Unless you want to sit down and open a book. In most programming languages, I bet if they had a functions book that talked about the functions in their base library, it would be like a dictionary-sized book, and you would just sit there and read what this function does. Unless you want to learn all of that, looking through code bases and seeing how people do things is often the way that you will learn that sort of thing. Like, oh, that's how they did that. I can use that for my skill set or whatever. And so that will be persisting. But I'm now transitioning into trying to get a better understanding of the project ahead of me, and we'll see where that goes. But first, I think before I can really do much, I need to talk to a tax person. I need to find out what I need to do tax-wise in order to take this on. I need to figure it out for my business in general, because this business hasn't made a lot of money over time. It's been easy to just put it on my personal taxes. But if I'm making a significant amount of money, especially, even just the software that I'm taking back from the state, the clients are paying $5,000 for that. So if I pick up more clients, whatever, I don't know how to report all of that. I don't know if I'm supposed to pay estimated tax. Like, I need to talk to a tax person, or at least a business person. So got to do that too. And deal with parent stuff and kid stuff and all the stuff that happens in normal life, on top of trying to decide whether how much energy, not whether, I am going to put energy into the side business. How much is left up to debate. Part of it is I don't know how much energy I have. I have to just test it and see. But looking forward to it. So, you have any advice about tax stuff? Or if I guess I need to talk to a local person. It's probably like being a lawyer. You need to understand state tax code as well as national stuff, federal stuff. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. My brain is scattered. I have that. We'll talk about project management stuff tomorrow, because it's all over the place too. Thank you for being here as always. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, being amazing friends and wonderful people. I really appreciate you, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Today's word you should know to sound smart is non-entity. It is a noun meaning a person or thing considered completely unimportant. Ever since Cassandra scorned us at the Brackingtons' Thanksgiving Gala, we have taken to treating her as a non-entity. Non-entity. Nonentity. I don't think that's a smart word, but it's also not a word you hear very often. But I think everybody understands it, right?